These are 3 of the best and 3 of the worst cubes to buy in 2025. And after testing hundreds of 3x3s, I can confidently say that there are some you need and some you should stay far away from. So let's begin with the first cube you absolutely must get. And that is the Tornado version 4, which I believe is one of the best 3x3s that has ever been made. What stands out most is how refined this cube feels in comparison to the previous versions and any other competitors. While in the past, the Tornado line has felt slightly too soft and unstable or completely tight and restricted, the version 4 is completely different as it has improved corner cutting as well as overall stability and control. The turning has a slight resistance, but this is designed in a way where it actually helps each layer to stay together without preventing you from completing the turns you actually want to do. The magnet strength is moderate, but there is also the option to adjust how strong you want them to be with 5 different settings. This ensures that you find the perfect level of alignment and assistance from the cube for your style. So if you're looking for a 3x3 that prioritizes consistency without sacrificing any other qualities, then the Tornado version 4 is definitely one of the best options. But now let's look at the first cube which I would not recommend for you to buy, and that is the WRM version 10. This will confuse a lot of people as I have often compared the V10 to cubes like the Tornado, and it has sometimes even been better. However, recently Moyu announced the version 11, which means that you can get the updated version by just spending a little bit more. So whilst this is still a very good cube, I would recommend not buying it as you can wait just a little bit longer for the all new version which will be packed with the most up-to-date hardware Moyu has to offer. Now let's move on to the second cube which I would recommend you buy, and that is the Fanxion Hudong. This is a 3x3 that might surprise a lot of people as it has somewhat been forgotten since its release in late 2024, but this cube really impressed me straight out of the box. I initially wasn't anticipating much, but the performance is well above what you would expect. The feature that stands out most is the speed and how remarkably well it is handled. With most other fast cubes, you have to sacrifice some stability and control. However, with the Hudong, that is not the case. Another one of my favourite things about this 3x3 is how smooth and soft it feels, even whilst turning very fast. This is mainly expressed through the very mute sound that comes from the Hudong, which is a change from the aggressive and loud sound produced by most other cubes. But overall, for people who prioritise speed and control, this is by far one of the best options. In contrast, the next cube on the worst list is the XT3 V1, which is a 3x3 I can't really recommend at all. Something that I can recommend though is a membership to this channel where you will get an exclusive upload every single month that normal viewers don't get to see. There are already 3 of these videos waiting for you, as well as a bunch of extra features, so click the top link in the description to become a member. If you've been watching this channel for a long time and want even more content, then this is the best way to achieve that. So thank you in advance as we now go back to the XT3 V1. And the first reason I can't recommend it is because it's relatively expensive and has pretty limited features. Essentially, Qi made this as a less premium version of the Tornado, but that just means it has awful stability and incredibly weak magnets. As a result, it is very difficult to extract good times from, and it is rather inconsistent when it comes to turning. The only benefits are that it has very premium quality as it is made similar to the Tornado, but for the price you'd expect a lot more. So instead of getting this, I would recommend spending just $5 more and going with the Tornado version 4 as you will be a lot more impressed with it. Now the third cube that I can recommend to buy is the RS3M version 5, which I think is one of the most well-rounded 3x3s for the price in 2025. Moyu has refined this line over several years, and this version is easily the best one yet. What stands out first is how premium the performance feels despite this coming in at the more budget end of the scale. Straight out the box, it performs at a very high level without requiring any additional setup, but when you do set it up, it becomes a whole lot better with incredibly controllable turning and remarkable smoothness. The corner cutting is also very good, with it being able to cope with a wide range of angles across both forward and reverse cuts. The ball core gives it a level of confidence which definitely wasn't there on the previous version. And what's also really important is the price, as this is still a budget cube, yet it easily competes with 3x3s that cost more than double. So if you want a fairly cheap option that still gives you access to flagship level turning, the RS3M version 5 is the most obvious recommendation. And finally, the third worst cube to buy in 2025 is the GAN 15, which might be slightly controversial considering how many people rate this cube highly. And it's not a bad cube in terms of raw performance, but it is extremely hard to recommend recommend considering the price and how many other options there are which are much cheaper with arguably better performance. The turning is smooth and snappy as you'd expect from a GAN, and the customization options are still very extensive, but in actual solves I don't notice enough to make this better than other cubes like the Tornado or RS3AM version 5. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Remember to become a member if you want access to 3 exclusive videos with monthly editions. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.